Korean historical dramas aren't just about breathtaking costumes and royal palaces. They often bring real history to life. Today, we're counting down the top 10 historical K-dramas on Netflix based on true events. Each of these dramas is inspired by real kings, queens, warriors, and events from Korea's past. Let's dive in.
Jewel in the Palace, also known as Dae Jong-geum, is one of the most iconic Korean historical dramas of all time. Based on a true story, it follows the remarkable journey of Seo Jong-geum, the first female royal physician in Joseon dynasty history. Born into humble beginnings, Jong-geum enters the royal palace as a kitchen apprentice. There she begins her long and difficult path through the rigid class system, political conspiracies, jealousy, and betrayal. Her intelligence, determination, and unshakable morals help her rise from a lowly kitchen maid to become the king's personal physician, a feat nearly impossible for a woman at the time. Number 9. HiChi. Inspired by the real-life story of Prince Yeoning, later King Yeongjo, HiChi dives deep into the world of 18th century Joseon politics, where corruption, factional rivalry, and social injustice run rampant. Prince Lee Gyeom, Jung Il-woo, is intelligent and charismatic, but because he was born to a lowly concubine, the royal court refuses to accept him as a legitimate contender for the throne. His sharp wit and political insight make him dangerous to those in power, and he is constantly targeted by scheming ministers. As Lee Gyeom navigates deadly power struggles, he must outwit both ruthless political rivals and his own family to protect the people, and eventually rise as one of Korea's most respected kings. Set in the early 1900s, during the turbulent final years of the Joseon dynasty, Mr. Sunshine follows Eugene Choi, Lee Byung-hun, a young boy born into slavery in Joseon who escapes to the United States after a life-shattering tragedy. Growing up in America, he becomes a U.S. Marine Corps officer and returns to his homeland on a mission. But now he's a man torn between two worlds. Alongside them are unforgettable characters: the charismatic but dangerous Gu Dong-mei, the fierce and ambitious hotel owner Koo Do-hina, and the passionate revolutionary Kim Hee-sung. Each harbors secrets, unrequited loves, and unshakable loyalties, making the story a web of romance, betrayal, and sacrifice. Set in the Silla Kingdom during Korea's Three Kingdoms period, Queen Deok tells the epic life story of Princess Deokmin, Lee Yo-won, who was born as one of twin daughters of King Jinpyong. Due to a prophecy foretelling danger to the throne, she is secretly sent away from the palace as a baby. Raised far from her royal heritage, Deokmin grows into a resourceful and intelligent young woman. Fate brings her back to the capital, where she faces the kingdom's most dangerous figure, Lady Michelle Go Hyun-jung, a beautiful but cunning political mastermind who will stop at nothing to gain absolute power. Eventually, she reclaims her rightful identity and becomes Queen Deok, the first female ruler of Silla. Set during the Joseon dynasty, the king's affection tells a unique love story wrapped in secrecy and royal politics. When the crown princess gives birth to twins, a boy and a girl, the girl is ordered to be killed due to superstitions against female twins in the royal family. To save her, she is secretly smuggled out of the palace. Years later, the boy twin, Crown Prince Li Hui, dies unexpectedly. To protect the royal succession, the girl, now living as Dame Ai, returns to the palace disguised as her late brother, taking his place as the new crown prince. Their forbidden romance unfolds amid palace conspiracies, political power struggles, and the constant danger of her secret being exposed. Dongi tells the inspiring and dramatic life story of Choi Dong-yi, a low-born woman who rises to become one of the most influential figures in Joseon history. Set during the reign of King Sukjong, Ji Jin-hee, the drama begins with Dong-yi as a clever and kind-hearted young woman working in the palace's music department. She uses her sharp mind and strong moral compass to solve palace mysteries, gaining the attention of King Sukjong himself. Amid the chaos, Dong-yi remains grounded by her principles, compassion for the people, and determination to protect her loved ones, including her young son, who will grow up to be King Yongzhou, one of Joseon's most respected rulers. Six Flying Dragons is a gripping historical drama set during the fall of the Goryeo dynasty and the rise of the Joseon dynasty. It tells the story of six key figures referred to as the Six Dragons, who helped shape a new nation, each with their own ideals, ambitions, and struggles. At the center is Yi Bang-won, played by Yu Ah-in, a complex and ambitious prince who would later become King Taejong, the third king of Joseon. Though passionate about justice and reform, his ruthless tactics often bring him into conflict with his idealistic mentor, Jung Do-jeon, Kim Myung-min, a scholar and strategist determined to build a nation ruled by law, not monarchy. The Crowned Clown is a gripping historical drama that explores identity, power, and sacrifice, all through a dangerous game of deception. Set during the turbulent Joseon era, the story follows King Yi Haeon, a paranoid and unstable ruler whose throne is constantly threatened by political enemies and assassination attempts. In a desperate move to protect the king's life, the royal council brings in Ha-seon, a lowly clown who looks exactly like the king. Ha-seon, kind, thoughtful, and brave, takes the king's place in secret. At first clumsy and overwhelmed, he soon proves to be more just and beloved than the real king ever was. As he begins to embrace the role of ruler, he finds himself caught in a dangerous web of palace politics while falling in love with Queen Yu So-woon. The Red Sleeve is a moving historical romance based on the real-life love story between King Jongjo of Joseon and his royal concubine, Seong Deok-im. The drama begins with Seong Deok-im, a bright and free-spirited court lady who values her independence and has no desire to become part of the palace's rigid hierarchy of power. Her life changes when she meets Yi-san, the disciplined and perfectionist crown prince, who is burdened by the tragic past of his family and the heavy responsibility of the throne. Their romance is a delicate balance between love and duty, freedom and sacrifice, all set against the backdrop of palace politics and historical events. Set in the Goryeo dynasty and the Yuan Empire, Empress Ki tells the epic life story of Ki Seung-nyang, HiChi Won, a Goryeo-born woman of extraordinary intelligence, courage, and beauty. Born a commoner but raised with fierce determination, Seung-nyang disguises herself as a man to survive in a male-dominated society, and rises through the ranks with her unmatched skill in archery, swordsmanship, and political strategy. Ultimately, she ascends to become Empress Ki, one of the most influential women in Yuan history, but at the cost of heartbreaking sacrifices and personal losses.